So, ask any questions on that one before that one?
Any questions about that?
I think that's another bad idea. If you would just dump the trash cans. That blue barrel's been full for 6 months. If it's overfilled, they can't use it, I mean, they're gonna throw it on the ground. Even if you have it there, I mean, it has to be empty to be able to be used.
What they've done in other reservoirs is they don't put dumpsters or trash cans out because they encourage people, if you bring it in with you, that you take it out with you. And they found that that works, that people aren't just leaving their trash lying around. If they brought it, they usually pack it out with them, so they don't usually just throw it where they were just picking. So I'm just asking for that. But it has been dumped quite a few times that I've been out there and seen it. It's been empty, but you may have seen more that's been out there and it hasn't been dumped. But,
Any other questions about that?
and the final steps, because there'll be some additional phases based on the perspective of the Board of Aldermen tonight, is that we've done research, Lance Moore, and looking at the anglers and the people who fish out there quite a bit, based on where they fish, to accommodate some of the issues that's taken place with the mudding and the damage to the roads. So what one of the recommendations is that we would use big excavating rocks to block off the lane just past the lane that takes you down to the pump house, and block that off and have some grass grow up through there and leave significant space that if somebody rode a horse or got bikes, got wheelchairs, or just wanted to hike and fit through there, but a vehicle wouldn't fit through there until it was duck season or hunting season. We could help accommodate, putting those blinds back there. But for the general purpose would be to close that off so people could hike and walk back in there. And then it would be closed all the way to the turn around, which is by the east gate. So you'd come in from the east and be able to go all the way to the turnaround, and then you'd have to come in from the west gate to use the dock and get down to the where the old pump house is. There's an amphitheater kind of thing down there. So it's about a mile long from there to the other park. So you could have a lot of walking and hiking and stuff through there. And you'll see it on the handout I gave you. You can see what would actually be closed. If you look at the yellow sections there, those would be the only sections that we witnessed people fishing that would be affected by the closure. And it's just those two little areas right there, but they still have access to them. They just wouldn't be able to park their car in the middle of the road or in the grass, what they're not supposed to in the first place. But that's where they fish if we would close that off. So that would be the only affected areas from that. Everybody excited so far? I can see everybody's riveted, so I know. So I'll just keep on going. And that's technically the last phase, is that closure. And I'll talk about what we've accomplished so far to get where we're at right now. But so we have getting rid of the dump site, the dumpster and the trash can, and closing that mile of walkway. And there's some additional phases like tree cutting down so you can see the lake better, but those are different phases. But these are the three things that I'm asking for to go forward on, or if I get approval to go forward on those type of things.
I would like to, me personally, I agree that I mean, if we want to change the reservoir, we want it to be more useful and a better place for residents and visitors to come to. We obviously can't keep doing the same things we have been doing because nothing will change that way. But I would like to see more, and I appreciate the work that you have done as well as Mr. Moore. I would like to see maybe some more citizen input on this. I would like to see maybe a group formed to specifically look at the reservoir like we've done with the old police building. I'd like to see a citizen group formed to take a look at all the options and then bring back recommendations based on what they think as well. Working with you and Lance on that.
I think that was one of the one of the topics that we were talking about is to have that happen as well.
Yeah, we talked about that at the EDC meeting, is getting the park board involved for sure, and maybe 4 or 5 other citizens to look at the reservoir before we made any decisions, because I think there's lots of things that we need to have clarity on and clear proposals before we make changes. But I do think Chief's right. I think this is a great asset for our city, and it's an asset that may not take a lot of capital to create an environment where we're getting people to come to the city, driving straight down 131 and stopping to purchase items. But I also understand that there's citizens that appreciate what's already out of the lake and what's already out of the reservoir. So I guess as we spoke with the EDC, just looking at this as a real opportunity and an asset for our city to draw people into the city. I think this reservoir, I think Lake Bonita, I think all of those. That's why, as I look across and see Stephen out there, I think Stephen needs to be a part of this dialogue, or somebody, one of his designated people. So I guess that's kind of what we dialogued the other night at the EDC, was maybe putting yet another task group together to begin to look at this. And it's already been stated, I think anytime we can get citizens involved, it's better.
When you would shut down the road, your phase 3 that you just talked about, that's not gonna be forever. That's just to heal the property, right? From
Well, that's-
four-wheeling, the ruts, the washouts in the roads and things like that. Do I understand that correctly?
For right now, I'm telling you, something needs to be done on that portion, because people have contacted us about, damage to their vehicles going through those rutted areas. And right now, with the mudding and tracking the mud on the gravel and having that water flood, creating new crevices across, it is, I'm almost to the point that it's almost hard for me to send cars through there or trucks through there based on the actual conditions of that lane, based on that kind of stuff. And then it may be a time that once everything's put in place, everything's regrown, everything's back, that it becomes a thoroughfare based on money and stuff like that, with, putting new rock down and fixing it all. So it actually becomes a through. You can go in the east gate and come out the west. So, but right now there needs to be something just to get control of the environment, so.
I took the liberty to drive out there today, and I didn't see any of that stuff in the road you're talking about, other than just from the recent rain with the washouts. And I drug my work van through there, and I didn't have to come off the road at any point. I think if we just take the main motor grader out there and grade it out like we're supposed to, instead of treating it like a stepchild, we'd have a lot of this eliminated already. We got the equipment, we got plenty of rock out there at the street department. We got piles of it out there that just sitting there doing nothing. We could fill in those ditches where they've been rutting them out that you're talking about, where the water's standing. We can be done less than $1,500.
Would you be open to forming a group, a task group, to look at the reservoir and bring back options?
Like Mr. Area said, I think that was kind of like me coming to this to say that this is what we want. And the portion is that we would work with the EDC and form some type of group. But this is my presentation of what kind of like we're looking for and we need to get done.
How many members?
I would say it's almost similar to the downtown area, because you might need to include the downtown, because it brings crowd to the downtown if we go further and we start having camping and stuff out there to bring crowds. So I'm thinking almost mirroring, help me, but it almost mirrors to what we kind of have with the downtown group.
Okay, so I'm hearing possibly mirror this, so,
That's 7, 9 really.
so, well, 5 now.
It's like 5 with Chief and myself.
5 with Chief seven total. 5 people selected, and then chief and Mr. Harry facilitating.
And it would be like Mr. Henning brought up, though, we
With one
come up with
name.
different options.
I'd just like to point out that the Parks Board actually in their plan has the reservoir in it, which is part of the city plan.
Right.
We don't have much done to it or anything, I just wanted to point that out, that any changes that y'all want to make, we'll want to push through and make sure are reflected in that plan too.
And we would also include a member of the park board as well, so.
We'll leave you.
Yeah. Do all the work.
So that's what you're asking?
That's correct.
Okay, so that would be a motion for you guys' approval to form a reservoir task group.
To task the first phase of what we're asking for.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to form a task force for the reservoir, for phase, first phase.
Those things we talked about.
First phase. 7 people, that's 5, including Mr. Harry and Chief South.
Okay. Have a motion?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to form a reservoir task force to look at first phase of reservoir. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, next is a request from David Bales of First Baptist Church to waive permit fees for home improvements as part of Dismiss Weekend, June 26th to June 28th, 2015. This will be a motion for your approval. Mr. Bales, if you wouldn't mind explaining what you're looking for there, sir.
Have some packets before the Aldermen.
Thank you.
My name is David Bales. I'm with First Baptist Church. I'm an associate pastor there. I also live at 705 Clayton Drive here in Odessa. Dismiss Weekend is something that we started several years ago, and it's kind of grown into a very big community service project. We'll have over 200 people, local residents here from Odessa, volunteering their time to redo different homes within the city, do community service projects, and doing yard work. Actually, I think it's kind of fitting that we're here because we are planning to dump a lot of our yard waste at the reservoir this coming weekend. And so if we need to help build a new pile at a different location, we'd be happy to do that. But there will be a lot of different projects happening this week. There are 4 different major overhaul projects within the city of Odessa that's happening. Those are within these packets, and the residents' names and addresses and phone numbers are also there. I was able to work closely with Sybil on a lot of these different projects this year, rounding them up. A lot of these people are people within the city limits who are in code violation on their property but cannot afford to update their property. And so our church, Calvary Baptist here in Odessa, and a few people from Greeton Baptist Church are all joining together, and we're going to be doing several of these projects free of charge to the resident. Actually, we are paying even for the materials and the labor during these things. And so what we're asking the mayor and the board of aldermen to consider is to waive the permit fees for these residents for this work to happen, since it is a volunteer type of weekend that we're going to be doing. No money is to be made. There is no money changing hands, and that is the request that we have. Have questions?
Hang on just a second. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, Miss Wilson pulled the amounts of the permits that would be required, and None of them need a permit except for the roof repair, and it's a permit fee of $66.25. So that's what you'd be waiving.
Go ahead.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. Go for it.
I make a motion that we waive the permit fees for the home improvements that are made for the Dismas weekend, which, as Nikki says, amount to about $66.
If there are other projects that Mike's brought up this week that we end up taking on, we've already discussed that we would give those to Ms. Wilson at the city offices so that she'll know, so that nobody else can swoop in between now and then and say, hey, we were a part of that weekend. That was a concern, that people would tell the city that they were a part of our weekend, but that they really weren't, just so that they could waive the fees. And so if there are any other projects that we end up picking up that would need a permit, we would turn those into the city so that you guys would be aware of what was happening.
So, even though right now there's just that one that may need a permit, do you want us to leave, should we leave this open-ended, not assign a dollar amount to it, just waive the permit so that?
I'd say waive them, and then he can work with Sybil,
Okay.
as he's described.
Right, and we're pretty much maxed, because these are just the 4 that are in city limits, but we have 2 jobs at Lake Lafayette, 1 in Holden, and so there's lots of different jobs going on, and we're pretty much maxed at our capacity right now.
Do I need to amend that?
You want to, you
Can I just strike that and just say, I make a motion that we waive the permit fees for the Dismiss program this week?
Okay. Have a motion, do I have a second? I'll second. Have a motion and a second to waive permit fees for Dismas weekend. Any other discussion, questions? Go ahead.
The only thing I'd have would be the ones that are required, Civil still do their inspections, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and we have contractors that are working on those, and we've worked with Civil to find out what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do, what's going to bring them up to code. A lot of these are yard work. I think we have over 30 yards that we're gonna be working on this weekend, so a lot of it is just yard work, but Civil knows what we're doing, and she's given the approval on all of them, and we'll have her come back and mark off on it. And if there's more to be done, we'll come back on another weekend and get it finished for the resident.
Right, I just think that ones that require her inspection, she should still do the inspection.
Absolutely, yes.
How many volunteers do you anticipate having?
On this one, we'll have over 200 volunteers this weekend. And so it will be, we'll all be wearing I Love Odessa t-shirts. So check us out on 4th Street primarily is where we'll be working.
Great. Good deal. Any other questions or comments? All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chief Nunez just pointed out, we'll be at the Parks Board tomorrow night, presenting a request for different block parties in the city parks as well, Saturday night from 6 to 8 p.m. That may just need to go on the record here at the Board of Aldermen meeting, but we'll be using the parks, having bounce houses, having neighborhood block parties as a part of this weekend for every resident, free of charge, free food, free everything. And that's actually going to Ms. Spar at the newspaper first thing in the morning as well for advertisement. So we'd love to see anybody. I think Chief Newhouse and Chief Campbell are going to bring fire trucks and police cars around for the kids at each of the city parks from 6 to 8 this Saturday night.
So you're doing that, you're having one of those at every single park, or every park?
At Phillips Park, Dyer Park, Chestnut Park, and Centennial Park will be holding those at each one of those. And it's not a church event.
Is there an age and a weight requirement for those bounce houses?
Yes. I will pay money to see you.
All right, any other questions from Mr. Dale? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right. We're on the backside of the agenda. New business continued. This is the first and second reading of bill number 2015-10, ordinance number 2902, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $3 million principal amount combined waterworks and sewer sewerage system with revenue bonds for the state of Missouri Direct Loan Program Series 2015. It's all noted. This is the first reading for your
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 2009-02, bill number 2015-10, first reading.
Have a motion and a second to approve bill number 2015-10, ordinance number 2902. Any discussion? Mr. McClaney, do you have anything you want to add?
This has taken so much longer than we expected. I thought we'd be finished with this in February and not adding anything else, except this is a Hail Mary pass by your mayor, and the city is getting $3 million in grants on top of those. Congratulations. Oh, and Dave Martin here is with Gilmore and Bell. He's here to answer any legal questions, but I don't think anybody has any.
Yeah, we were happy to serve as your bond counsel on this transaction. If anyone does have a question on the documents, fire away, and I'll see if I can answer it.
Council good? Any questions for either one of these two gentlemen? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Second reading of ordinance number 2902, bill number 2015-10. Second reading for your, Alderman Wright.
I'll move we approve second reading ordinance number 2009-02, bill number 2015-10.
Have a motion?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve bill number 2015-10, ordinance number 2902. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Bellington.
Yes.
Alderman Wright.
Yes.
Alderman Lockhart.
Yes.
Alderman Henning.
Yes.
Alderman Carty.
Yes.
Alderman Stevens.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Congratulations. That is excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thanks for being here. All right, last item under new business is a motion to authorize city administrator and public works director to facilitate repairs to McDowell Street. This is a motion for your approval.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the city administrator and public works director to facilitate repairs on McDowell Street.
Second motion. Alderman Carmody seconds. The motion to authorize city administrator and public works director to facilitate the repairs to McDowell Street. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I went over there and looked at that, and are we gonna put a 72-inch line in now?
Yes.
And it's gonna be 25 feet longer than the existing one?
No, it's just shorter than the existing one. There's 110 foot in there. We're gonna put 100 in. That's what was recommended by special road district.
So it's gonna extend further north underneath the road, because the existing one wasn't even underneath the curbing
Well,
on the north
it'll
side.
be centered in the hole, is basically what it'll be. It'll be the same size as what the county put in underneath 9th Street. It's the same size as that.
So maybe it won't be extending as far south as what it is now?
Well, I don't know, it'll be centered in the road. I don't know just how far it's gonna go one way or the other, but I would assume it'd go 50 feet on both sides.
All right. I measured it, and it seems longer than that. I mean, what's there
I
now?
measured it, it said it was 110 feet long.
Okay. And then if it fills a 72-inch of water going through there,
I'm sorry?
right now it's a 48-inch in there, right? 48.
I think it's a 4-footer.
Yeah, so we're going to 72. If it would fill up with water, what about the concrete culvert in the person's driveway down there?
That
That's a 40.
That is a problem already.
Okay, because that's a 43 inch, I think.
I don't know how small that one is.
Little choking water. All right. Okay.
Any other questions? Wait for all.
I think 60.
What's
Coming under the road.
You have a question there?
We're just,
My question was, so we're at 72 as it crosses McDowell, or we're going to be at 72? Then we've got a driveway that it goes under at 43, and then it opens back up to a 72?
60 going under the road. It's a 60 going under the road.
Well, he said before that this was the same size as the one going under 9th Street.
No,
No?
no, they enlarged Ninth Street, several years ago,
Enlarged it to what?
72. That's what it is now. This underneath McDowell Street will match underneath Ninth Street.
But we do run the risk of that 40, choking that 72 back down to a 43.
It's gonna choke it back down, but if you don't go bigger, you're gonna wash out McDowell Street, or you run the risk.
But don't you think we'd run the risk of forcing it out by choking it going through a 43?
I think you've got a bigger risk of losing McDowell if you don't enlarge it to the 6 foot.
So that'll drop it down to the creek level.
I'm sorry?
That'll drop it, the culvert down more to the creek level than what it is now with the 72. Or not, I mean,
Well, I don't understand what your question is, but the 72-inch culvert, okay, right now, you've got a bottleneck right there at McDowell Street, as well as the drive on down the road. Now, the water still goes through 9th Street easy enough. The size culvert that was in there now washed out because of all the water. If you don't enlarge it, you shouldn't enlarge it any bigger than what's downstream underneath 9th Street. Otherwise, you run the risk of washing out McDowell Street.
What are you,
If
what are you saying as far as?
I'm looking at liability of the city. If we put a 72 in and push out somebody's driveway, that's got a 43.
I'm worried about that piece.
And Mr. Conway, you're saying that, I mean, if we don't approve this, McDowell Street's still shut down?
Yeah, it's still shut down.
You're
The Special Roads District looked at it, but we haven't had an engineer look at it. We haven't had an engineer look at it. Is that correct, Paul?
No.
And what you're saying is that if you don't make this repair, that's being requested, that rather than washing out a driveway, you're gonna wash out McDowell Street. So it's.
Gotta come out anyhow.
And it's not your water. I mean, it gets to, and Clay can help me out here, it's the generator of the water who's responsible as far as your liability goes. Some people have said that all that water when the school came in and put all the asphalt, that sent a whole lot of water, extra water down McDowell, or down the drainage. So, in theory, not actually, in actuality, everybody upstream donate, or they own a portion, they contribute to the water. Am I not right?
Mr. Burke,
Let's have an engineer look at this.
that's kind of where
I'm sorry?
have an engineer look at it. Is that what you put in?
I would recommend that as well.
Have an engineer look at it?
And what,
Okay,
this will keep McDowell shut down, which That's,
thought.
okay.
We've got a motion and a second on the floor to amend the motion, or we can vote on this one and deny it, and make a new motion. Let's go ahead and vote on this one.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
That driveway in question has been there a long time, right? Before you down the street?